Did you know that South Sudan, the youngest nation in the world, defied all odds to qualify for the 2024 Paris Olympics through the FIBA World Cup, all within a decade of its independence? A country often in the headlines for its struggles has emerged as a beacon of hope and inspiration in the world of sports. South Sudan's basketball team has not just made history, they've captured the hearts of millions. Their journey from a war-torn nation to the global basketball stage is filled with triumphs, heartbreaks, and moments of sheer determination. Against all odds, they've not only qualified for the FIBA World Cup, but have also become a symbol of resilience for their people. This is the incredible story of how basketball became the unifying force for a nation still healing from the scars of war while taking Team USA to the brink of defeat. But how did this happen? How did a nation, still grappling with poverty and limited resources, produce a team that could stand shoulder to shoulder with the best in the world? To understand this, we need to go back to where it all began, their origins, the role of diaspora players, and the unyielding spirit of South Sudan. It all started with a refugee who, along with 4 million other South Sudanese, fled the country during the Second Civil War in search of a place that was more peaceful than his hometown. His family initially fled to Egypt, but then later they moved to the UK. There he developed an interest in football, or as we know as soccer, which later led to him becoming an NBA player with amazing footwork. You might want to know who he is. Well, that's Luol Deng, who is now the coach of the South Sudan basketball team. Early in his NBA career, the Chicago Bull, Luol started the Luol Foundation to help South Sudanese refugees around the world. When he became president of the South Sudan Basketball Federation in 2020, Luol filled South Sudan's basketball team with players like himself who had fled the country as children or who had been born as refugees outside their country. Many team members grew up amid war and displacement. Their resilience was shaped by their environment, forging a competitive edge that would later define their game. As a fledgling nation, they faced numerous challenges, from civil war to economic hardship. Resources were scarce, and players often practiced without proper equipment or facilities. Luol spent millions of his own money to make this team. Initially faced hurdles such as lack of international exposure, limited funding, and the challenge of uniting a team scattered across the diaspora. Despite these setbacks, their passion for basketball kept them going. But under the leadership of Luol, things started to look up for them. The turning point came when the team competed in the 2022 Afro-Basket Tournament and World Cup qualifiers, defeating more established teams. The team had a dominating run from August 27, 2022 to November 24, 2024, and remained unbeaten in 8 consecutive games. Defeating teams like Egypt, Morocco, and Senegal put South Sudan on the map, showing the world its potential. It was a glimpse of what could happen when talent meets determination. South Sudan first beat DR Congo in the World Cup qualifiers with a score of 101-58. The game against Senegal was a close one, but South Sudan emerged victorious with 83-75 scoreline. As the team's performance improved, the basketball world began to take notice. South Sudanese players, including NBA stars like Luol Deng, became ambassadors for their country. Their participation drew attention to the untapped potential within this young nation. It was Luol Deng, under whom South Sudan's basketball truly started to make a mark on the international stage, played for Great Britain in the 2012 Olympics, and took on the role of president of the South Sudan Basketball Federation in 2020. He left Sudan with his family when he was only 5 years old in 1990 and spent his childhood in Egypt and later in London before heading to the United States to follow his dream of playing basketball professionally. He played an integral role in putting a team together for his country of birth by convincing players and the head coach, Royal Ivey, a former NBA player from America, to join him on his mission. In 2013, South Sudan officially joined FIBA, setting the stage for greater international participation. It was a historic moment, marking their arrival on the global stage. The world watched as this team, built from nothing, began competing against basketball's elite. The team played their first official game in March 2017 and never looked back after that. Their first major victory in Afro-Basket established them as a formidable force in African basketball. The team played with a raw energy and determination that stunned their opponents. Fans rallied behind them, inspired by their perseverance and skill. In the 2021 Afro-Basket Tournament, the newest country in Africa at the time went without a win in all their games in the group stage until the last Group D game in their first ever Afro-Basket Tournament. After losing to an experienced and title contender, Senegal, 104-75 in their debut game, South Sudan didn't lose hope. A post-defeat statement by South Sudan's head coach, Royal Ivey, told the basketball world that a new inspired team was on the rise. In an interview, he said to the media, "We are young, we are having fun, and they play free. They didn't flinch. This is South Sudan basketball for you." This proved just 2 days later when the African basketball fans saw a completely changed team in one of the closely fought games in the tournament until that point. Throughout the game, the momentum continuously shifted between South Sudan and Uganda, and the teams traded blows for most of the time, with a total of 7 lead changes happening during the game. South Sudan emerged victorious with a 44-43 score, beating Uganda by just 1 point. The inspired and highly motivated team registered just 9 turnovers against Uganda's 16. Their bench outscored Uganda 34-25, and it was in the paint where the South Sudanese players truly showed their class by scoring 46 points, more than half of the total 88 points. This helped them give their fans a much-needed gift of victory in the last game of the AfroBasket tournament by defeating their neighboring country 88-86. If you want to define South Sudan's play style in a single word, it's electric. The team knows how to get out and run. What sets South Sudan apart is their fast-paced play style, blending athleticism with high basketball IQ. Their strategy relies on quick transitions, sharp shooting, and a relentless defense. This unique approach, which mirrors the spirit of a nation eager to make its mark, has earned them respect from fans and rivals alike. But one thing that's special about this team is a deep sense of camaraderie among the players and the coaches. The team always plays like a tightly knit unit. One of their standout moments came during the FIBA World Cup qualifiers in July 2022, where they shocked basketball giants like Tunisia 72-64 and ended their 2-year-long winning streak. South Sudan knew it would require a team effort to beat giants like Tunisia, and they did exactly that. They were the better team throughout the game and remained in the lead in all but 24 seconds. Thanks to South Sudan's aggressive defense, Tunisia could not create open looks, resulting in their first defeat since February 2020. These victories proved their capability to compete at the highest level. It was a defining moment for the team and the nation they represent. It was the second time that Tunisia had lost to a relatively newer basketball team from Africa. When South Sudan beat Tunisia in February 2022, experts and fans believed it was because the Tunisian basketball team was without their 2 key players, Salah Medri and Michael Roll. But in the FIBA World Cup qualifiers, Tunisia had both the stars playing and still lost to South Sudan 75-61. This proved that South Sudan had become a ruthless team in a short time and was a force to reckon with in both African and world basketball. Coming to window 3 of the FIBA African qualifiers, South Sudan was well aware that they were the team to beat, and the only team that could give them tough competition in Group B was Tunisia, the reigning African champions. But the team was confident and never panicked, even when trailing by 7 points. Mareng Gatkuoth displayed an impressive 4-for-4 shooting performance from 3-point range, contributing 12 points off the bench. Nuni Omat was also excellent in both defense and offense and finished the game with 16 points to his name. Kwani Ngor Kwani also added 12 points to the team's score, and Sunday Dech hit 2 crucial 3-pointers that left Tunisia struggling. With a strong defensive presence and effective offensive play, when South Sudan entered the game, they looked poised to continue their winning streak in the qualifiers and keep their dream of playing the World Cup alive. And when the game ended, they had done exactly that. The team was so great during the game that even the opposition's coach recognized their brilliance. Talking to the media after the game, Tunisia head coach Dirk Bauerman said, "They were better in all phases of the game. They were better defensively. They got 19 more assists, better ball movement than we did, and they shot pretty well from the 3-point range. We struggled to score. We never found our rhythm, but these things happen. But this game was in the past." When Nuni Omat was asked about his team's performance against the favorites, Tunisia, he told the media exactly what the fans wanted to hear. "I don't think we have a limit. Tonight as a group, we did a great job of playing together. It wasn't just one person." The statement by South Sudan head coach Royal Ivey gave everyone a sneak peek into why the team was doing great. He said, "I keep telling the guys we got our respect, but don't get too content because we haven't done anything yet. We got to take it game by game." Having said that, the country's journey wasn't without setbacks and challenges. Logistical issues, lack of funding, and limited training facilities often hindered their progress. However, each challenge only strengthened their resolve. For starters, the country of South Sudan is just 13 years old, which means South Sudan's basketball team is a team of refugees and their descendants who suffered through devastating wars for decades. What's even more shocking is the fact that the team didn't have a place of their own to train. Mostly the players had to practice on concrete courts without any indoor gym, and even had to practice on a flooded field one time. Nicknamed Bright Stars, all of South Sudan's basketball team's players don't live in the country of their origin, because the parents of many of these players fled the country because of the wars that continued even after its independence in 2011. Even the president of the South Sudan Basketball Federation, Luol Deng's family, moved to Egypt and later to the United Kingdom in the 1990s. South Sudan's players leaned on their unity and grit to overcome these obstacles. Luol Deng, now serving as the team's president, played a crucial role in mentoring the squad and rallying resources. Together, they continued to fight for their dreams and achieve them one by one. Talking to the media at the Aranita Coliseum in Quezon City after South Sudan's biggest win in history, over Angola, Deng said, "I'm very proud. When I became the president of the federation, I told everyone that my goal was first to get out of Zone 5, then make it to AfroBasket, to the FIBA World Cup, and to the Olympics. So far, we've been able to achieve all of that. For me, it's a special day. It's something that I knew was possible for us to do, and I knew it took a lot of work." South Sudan's journey to the FIBA World Cup was nothing short of remarkable. They swept through the qualifiers, earning their place among basketball's elite teams. Each win was celebrated as a victory for their nation. The African country secured 11 wins out of 12 games in the qualifier. They went undefeated in the first round with a 6-0 record, including 2 victories over the defending African champions, Tunisia. In the second round, they continued their strong performance, winning 5 out of 6 games. Their goal wasn't just to participate, but to compete for championships. This ambition drove their rigorous training and unwavering focus. The team wanted to show the world they belonged on the global stage. Although they faced tough competition, their performance exceeded expectations. South Sudan achieved a historic milestone in the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup by securing 3 wins against established teams, which fueled their aspirations for future tournaments. They first defeated China with a score of 89-69, marking their first ever World Cup victory.
As they pick up their first ever victory at a FIBA World Cup.
Carlick Jones was the leading scorer from South Sudan with 21 points and also had 6 assists in the game. On August 31st, 2023, they triumphed over the Philippines, finishing the game at 87-68.
They win 87-68.
The first and the fourth quarters were the most successful for Team South Sudan, with the Bright Stars scoring 34 and 27 points respectively. The third win was a memorable one for the Bright Stars because it ensured their ticket to the Paris Olympics 2024. South Sudan beat Angola with a decisive 101-78 win, which was also their biggest win by points. 39% of South Sudan's points came in three-pointers, and Carlick Jones was their leading scorer with a total of 26 points. From buzzer beaters to incredible comebacks, South Sudan's games were filled with iconic moments. Each highlight added to their growing legacy and inspired millions of fans worldwide. The team's chemistry, both on and off the court, became a cornerstone of their success. This connection was because of the players' shared history, their similar journeys of fleeing a conflict zone, and a collective desire to represent their country on a bigger stage. Players like Carlick Jones, Nuni Omat, and Kamen Madit Maluak are the foundation of South Sudan's basketball.
Oh my goodness.
Carlick Jones has the experience of playing with teams like Chicago Bulls and Texas Legends, and was the NBA G League top scorer in 2023. Jones joined the South Sudan national team for the 2023 FIBA World Cup and scored 35 points in his World Cup debut against Puerto Rico. Omat has been playing in the NBA since 2018 and made his debut for South Sudan in 2021 against Nigeria. Nuni Omat was also the reason behind South Sudan qualifying for their first ever World Cup when he helped his team beat Senegal 83-75 on February 25th, 2023. Malu Ach, at just 18 years of age, is a bright prospect for South Sudan. He joined the national team when he was just 16 years old and is playing for the Duke Blue Devils in 2024. Although the players come from different backgrounds, some players grew up in refugee camps and others played abroad. But regardless of where they were before coming together, all the players are united by a common purpose: to inspire a nation through basketball. 940-10, first championship win. Though they haven't won a championship yet, their journey to the FIBA World Cup marked a monumental achievement. It was a stepping stone toward even greater heights for South Sudan basketball. Talk about their 2024 Olympic qualifier games like against Team USA in both exhibitions. They almost beat the U.S. The Bright Stars almost secured the biggest win of their history in July 2024 when they fell 1 point short of the mighty USA basketball team. South Sudan led for more than half the game and would have won if Carlick Jones' runner off the glass hadn't missed with just 4 seconds left in the game. But despite the loss, opposition players like LeBron James were all praise for South Sudan's team. Mariel Shayok had 24 points for South Sudan, and Carlick Jones hit a triple-double with 15 points, 11 assists, and 11 rebounds. The Bright Stars pitted against the USA in the Olympics 2024 as well and played valiantly throughout the game, but eventually lost 103-86. South Sudan's basketball team has become a symbol of hope and resilience for the people of their country. Their success is not just measured by wins, but by the unity they've brought to a nation once divided. Despite being one of the world's newest and most conflict-affected countries, South Sudan has defied the odds by excelling in international basketball. Their historic qualification for the 2023 FIBA World Cup, where they won 3 games, and their qualification for the Paris 2024 Olympics highlight their meteoric rise. Their success represents more than just sports. It shows the team's perseverance, which provides a sense of pride and identity to millions of South Sudanese. By polishing young talent like the 17-year-old Kaman Maluak, the 7 feet 2 inches center, and providing them a platform to show their potential on the world stage, South Sudan's basketball team is building a legacy of inspiration and national transformation. As the team grows, they face new challenges, including sustaining their momentum and competing against stronger teams. However, their foundation of grit and perseverance remains unshaken. Their FIBA debut marked a new chapter, setting the stage for what could be a golden era for South Sudan basketball. In less than a decade, the Bright Stars went on to not only qualify for the Basketball World Cup, but also play in their first ever Olympics. For veterans like Luol Deng, who couldn't get a chance to represent his country as a player, this journey has been about more than basketball. It's about giving back to his country of birth and setting a platform for the next generation of South Sudanese players to play sports. For players on the team, it's all about making up for the years they spent away from their country. As for the South Sudanese, their basketball team gives them something to look forward to and hope that the country's happy days are not too far. If you enjoyed this story, make sure you check out the overweight second-round pick that became one of the best in NBA history.